Welcome back to the programme. Let's get a reminder now of our top story on Euronews this hour. The strategic Ukrainian port city of Kherson by the Black Sea has fallen into Russian hands. Fighting in several other Ukrainian cities is intensifying as postponed peace talks between Ukrainian and Russian officials are set to take place later today.
In the 7 days since Russia invaded Ukraine, there's been a steady exodus of people fleeing the country, desperate to get to safety. The United Nations estimates that more than 1 million refugees have already crossed the border into neighbouring countries. Now the European Union is set to activate a previously unused mechanism to grant them immediate, temporary protection. Euronews correspondent Shona Murray has more from Brussels.
Well, after a raft of sanctions targeting Russian banks, Russian state broadcasting networks, RT and Sputnik, Russian aircrafts, and also Belarusian military personnel in sectors of the economy there, today the EU Commissioner Ylva Johansson, EU Commissioner for Home Affairs, is announcing a temporary protective scheme for Ukrainians fleeing across the border. Essentially, it means the Ukrainians can stay in the EU for up to 3 years. They can access employment, they can access social benefits, and it means that the asylum system, which is already overburdened, doesn't continue to be overburdened. It's partly about staying engaged in employment, engaging in part of the single market, and it gives Ukrainians an opportunity to stay in Europe. It's the first time this protective scheme has ever been triggered by the EU.
Large-scale NATO military exercises have started in Lithuania, maneuvers that will be extended to Latvia and Estonia in the coming days. It follows last week's decision by the alliance to activate mutual defense plans in Eastern and Central Europe in response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Exercise Sword Crossing involves land forces of the Baltic states, Poland, the US, and the UK. Separately, several hundred people have gathered at the Russian embassy in Vilnius for a 4-day protest against the Kremlin's war in Ukraine.
Right, we are standing in front of Russian embassy in Vilnius, and we have launched our 4 days non-stop protesting against the Russian invasion to Ukraine. That's the main point, to show them that we shall not leave them alone in the near future, as long as they keep doing crimes, war crimes, and attacking Ukraine.
The protesters came to the event wearing Ukrainian flags, paper yellow and blue flowers, posters supporting the country, and calls for the Kremlin to withdraw.
I think we have to stop this because, if he will not stop in Ukraine, he will come for us. So it's not only Ukraine's war, it's all of us war. So we have to help them because we will be next.
Today we with our company come there, keep with Ukrainians together. I think everything is possible and he can come to us, but I hope that all European Union and NATO will help us.
In nearby makeshift workshops, campaigners make posters and collect aid for people in Ukraine.
We're here to show the support for Ukraine and to pressure Russian embassy to stop the war and to contribute financially to Ukrainian military.
The protest is being watched over by police. It is a peaceful demonstration, but in this part of the world, empathy with the Ukrainians and anger against Russia are running high. Similar rallies of solidarity with Ukraine have been held across the world.
Dozens of anti-war demonstrators have been detained in St. Petersburg after jailed Kremlin critic Alexei Navalny called on Russians to protest against the invasion of Ukraine. There have been daily protests in the city since Russian troops marched into the country last week.
Why do they decide for us what we should or should not fight? It is all nonsense what's going on. It's a mess what's going on.
I am against the war. My husband is Ukrainian. I am Russian. We have a son who is half Ukrainian and half Russian. I am against killing our brothers.
A 77-year-old artist and activist was among those marched away by police. Thousands of people in cities across Russia have been defying police threats and staging protests against the invasion.
Economic sanctions are already hitting Russian citizens hard in their pockets. Western leaders hope the unprecedented measures will help to put pressure on the Kremlin to change their current course of action. But ordinary Russians face seeing their savings completely wiped out. Many try to withdraw funds from their banks, but with little success.
There are huge queues everywhere, and few vending machines have money.
There appears to be growing concern about the war among the younger generation.
People are starting to be afraid once Putin took the first step. Who knows if he will get psychosis and push some button.
Of course we don't support war actions, nor any aggression. It's always bad. No one is going to gain from that.
Even among those who support the war, there is a degree of uncertainty and a desire for peace.
The acts that our government have taken are forced acts. It's very difficult to make prognosis. We want peace. We need peace.
The Kremlin's control over Russian state media remains fierce, though, and many people simply believe what they're told.
Ukraine has been provoking Russia. It is the Ukrainians themselves who are doing it, and Putin is right.
Russia's youth, who have only known Vladimir Putin as their president, seem to be the ones who are most fearful of the war and of its effects on their society. This is because, along with the impact on their country, the longer the war lasts, the more likely they'll be forced to take part.
There are misgivings. Everyone is in the middle. None of us would like to see ourselves there.
We're afraid to take to the streets in this situation because Putin has all the power. The only thing we can do is to speak out. We are against this.
A war on the ground in Ukraine, and online a war of propaganda and misinformation. In times of conflict, when people are hungry for information, that is when false claims and rumours can spread very easily. Here in theCUBE, we have seen misleading claims from both sides and a lot of false videos and misleading content spreading on social media. Let me show you two examples. This is a video that was shared at the very start of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. People claiming that this showed an explosion taking place in one of the country's largest cities. However, this video is misleading. You can reverse search for images from this video and find when it actually first appeared on the internet. And as you can see, it does not actually show Ukraine. It actually shows an explosion that took place in Tianjin in China in the year 2015. So this video is misleading. It does not show an explosion in Ukraine amid Russia's invasion in 2022. But there are also other examples. This is an image that's been going viral on many social media platforms. It shows the mayor of Kiev, Vitaly Klitschko, dressed in combat uniform, saying that he's defending his nation. Now this image is true, but it has also been taken out of context. It is not a new image that shows the mayor of Kiev on the front line. If you go onto his own Instagram page, you can see that this image was actually taken in March 2021, several months before Russia had launched its invasion on Ukrainian territory. So there are two examples of misinformation that are spreading online amid the Ukrainian crisis. Here in theCUBE, we're working to fact-check, debunk and verify all the claims that are being made and all the misinformation that we see online.